What's going on, guys? Welcome back, and today we have a different type of video as I've recently picked up the LEGO Bumblebee figure, and I thought I would try out a build and review of this piece for you guys, so make sure you let me know what you think of me doing these types of videos. And if you want to see me do more, as there is a LEGO Optimus Prime figure and I've heard that they'll be releasing a new one this year, so I'd be more than happy to do that one too if that's something you'd like to see. So, as you can see, this guy can actually transform without having to be fully dismantled, which is a pretty cool thing that they've managed to pull off with these Transformers, and I must say, I really enjoyed building this guy, but I'll save the review for when the figure is complete, so I'll let the video play out and catch you once it's fully built. we're back, and as you can see, I have a fully built and transformed LEGO G1 Bumblebee. As for build time, this took me around an hour and 45 minutes, going at a fairly chilled out pace, which I'd say is pretty good compared to some of the other LEGO sets I've built in my time. And so I'd recommend getting like a film on, or some of my other videos on in the background while you build this guy, and just chill out while you build it. So for first impressions, this guy was a nice build. There were many elements which I've never come across before, which was nice, and it helped keep it from getting boring at any point. But there was a couple things I did notice during the build, which I will talk about after going through the positives of this figure. And the first positive would be that there's a very minimal use of stickers. And apart from the information stand, there aren't that many stickers seen. So if you mess it up at any point, it's not the end of the world. They're not going to be seen, and it doesn't affect the final look in both modes. For a closer look, the only stickers in robot mode you'll see is if you take this piece off, you'll see that them three stickers there are pretty much the only stickers on this entire piece, which is very nice, and it's nicely tucked away at the back. And yeah, in vehicle mode I suppose you could see them, but they're at the back of the figure, and it really doesn't affect it, I don't think. I also like the fact that the Autobot logo and the face are not stickers, as they would have been really difficult to actually get right and get looking perfect, and if you did mess them up, it would ruin the entire build, so I'm very grateful for that. And for our last positive, I think the vehicle mode looks great, considering this guy has to transform. Hello. And I think they're really focused on making the vehicle mode look as good as it can, and it really does show, I think. But I do have a couple negatives, and the first one is something that I've only just discovered through making this video, and that's that while going from vehicle mode to robot mode is not bad, it's a pleasurable experience, going from robot mode to vehicle mode is a bit of a nightmare. For one, I found that quite a lot of my pieces were just falling off, and I don't know if that's just the way I was handling it, but yeah, a lot of the little pieces were kept falling off and I kept having to replace them. It wasn't the end of the world, it wasn't like half the figure collapsed on me, but that's not a nice experience to have, so that would be one negative. And just to quickly add on to that last negative, it's not just going from robot mode to vehicle mode like I thought, it's the other way around as well. The feet are the main ones that tend to just fall apart as you're moving them about and turning it, which is a bit annoying. Again, not the end of the world, but if you're gonna buy this for kids, I'd maybe just hold off from letting them transform it back and forth, as I think they'll find with slightly rougher hands that it will collapse a lot more on them, because I was being very gentle with it and it happened to me. So just keep that in mind. It's not the end of the world, like I say, easy fix. Obviously it doesn't change anything, but just keep that in mind. But our next negative would be that the robot mode isn't the most amazing looking thing in the world. I mean, when you look at how good the LEGO Optimus Prime looks, I think it's night and day really. However, I do think this is due to them focusing more on the vehicle mode with this figure and making sure that looks right. And just the general design of this build doesn't play well to LEGO's blockiness, if you know what I mean. And so that does limit how good the robot mode can look, so I can forgive them for that. And to be honest, it's not that bad. It still looks great. It'll look great next to your LEGO Optimus Prime. It looks good on the shelf. I'm happy with it, but I just thought I'd mention that because, in person, I think it's just this area here, it just looks a bit disproportionate, to say the least. And our next negative is that whilst this build was enjoyable, I wasn't bored at any point. I did find that the amount of little pieces involved can make it a little bit finicky to build, and I imagine if you have big fingers this is a nightmare to build. So it's not all of the figure, but it's a large majority of it is these little pieces. This isn't as much of a problem to me personally, and due to the vehicle mode being quite curvy and the overall nature of this design compared to the LEGO Optimus, for example, it's almost a given that there's going to be a lot of little pieces involved. So it's expected. And so those are my immediate pros and cons with this guy. And overall, I'd say I'm pretty happy with this LEGO set. I hope we keep getting more LEGO Transformers sets in the future, as I think there's definitely potential for a really nice looking LEGO Transformers collection. But that's if you're willing to pay the price for each one. This guy goes for around £70 brand new at the time of this recording, which I think is a little bit pricey, but I also think it's fair for having two modes that you can change between really smoothly to a certain extent. And it has a decent amount of detail on it too, so if you can afford it, I would definitely recommend picking this guy up. As for Optimus Prime, I believe he goes for around 150 quid, which is quite steep, so if you want to see me review that figure and the new one releasing this year, you might have to wait a little while because LEGO isn't cheap anymore, as we all know. But yeah, so these sets are pricey, but after finishing this guy, it definitely seems like they're worth paying the price. But anyways guys, that's pretty much all I've got to say about this LEGO set, so if you enjoyed the video and want to see more like this, make sure you like and subscribe to let me know, and make sure you comment your own thoughts on this set, and if you have any constructive criticism on how I could make videos like this better, I'd love to hear it. But apart from that, I hope you enjoyed the video, have a great rest of your day, and I will see you later.